Namaste everyone. I am Dr. Vishal Saxena, host for today's program, which is a resilient economy for Viksit Bharat 2047. And everybody would be thinking, why 2047? And what is the reason behind it? 2047 is only because it is the centenary independence year of our favorite, our loved country, India. And today we are having two very renowned guests with us, Basudev Mukherjee and Neeraj ji. They both are very well in their own field, known in their own field. And let me give a round of applause to both our guests so that they will be telling about their story also before I introduce, and then they will be telling the story. Thank you very much. Round of applause. Welcome Basudev ji. Welcome Neeraj ji to this beautiful show, which has been organized by Zena family. And I'm sure the people who are going to listen to this podcast of ours will surely enjoy the session, which we will be sharing with our questions and answers, showcasing India as 2047. So before I start, let me take the opportunity to introduce Basudev Mukherjee sir to everyone. Basudev sir joined CII in May 1992, a good time, as a member of Harvard Business School study team, which examined the competitiveness of Indian industries under the guidance of Professor Michael Porter. Very nice, sir. Over the years, he has worked in various divisions of CII, including economic and taxation. CII US office in Washington, D.C. as well. This is an international division looking after the US. In 2008, he was a part of a startup team for the Aspen Institute, India, a new think tank set up by CII to promote value-based leadership. In 2011, Basudevji joined the Indian Staffing Federation, a new body set up by HR majors to represent the interest of temporary staffing industries as its first executive director. See, what a beautiful gentleman to be a guest today. After a brief stint at the All India Management Association, Basudevji once again rejoined CII in the charge of international research. In 2021, Basudevji joined the Associate Chambers of Commerce and Industry of India, ASCOHAM, which you can see behind him, the screen also, as an Assistant Secretary General. He is responsible for key policy verticals including taxation, banking and finance, regulatory issues and exports, among others. His role involves working with industries as well as the government to address key issues facing Indian industries. Basudevji received his master's in business economics degree from the University of Delhi, the capital of India. Please welcome Basudevji with a round of applause. Whoever are there.
Thank you.
Welcome Basudevji for our show.
Thank you.
And I would also like to introduce Mr. Neeraj, Professor Neeraj, as we call him, because he's having some issue with his system. But no worries, let me introduce him to you. As and when he joins in, he will be answering our questions also. So let's introduce Professor Neeraj to you. Professor Neeraj was a chemical engineer from IIT Bombay in 1979 and got PGDM from IIM-A in 1981. You can well understand the beauty and the brain which he has. Worked from GNFC and Stovex screens for about 5 years. He then went into his own entrepreneurship. He started his own business in consumer electronics, branching later into energy saving and software. Software was when the incoming thing. After about 26 years in business, he switched to teaching. Oh, what a job. And when he switched to teaching, he started a new university at his native place, Nandar, the birthplace of Sardar Patel. And he became the B school. He started his B school there for 12 years, going on to start a new university in Ahmedabad, the Shariat University, as its first vice chancellor. His main interest today is sustainable development and heritage management. That is something very interesting. I have a few connections spreads over and am doing some work both in sectors locally. Nothing to boast of much compared to the different people I see. I was encouraged by your tone and I live to choose the area. We will be asking certain question to Neeraj ji and Basudev ji. Before that, please welcome Neeraj ji also, and with a round of applause to Neeraj ji too. Welcome, sir, to a beautiful show organized by Zenaverse, and where, as the topic says, the resilient economy of Viksit Bharat. So I would like to first start with Basudev ji to just give a brief about his own experience, which has spanned over more than 4 decades. Please let us know, sir.
If you're, would you like to know about? You've already given my bio, so I don't know what else to add. So
Anything like how was your business school study team under the Professor Michael Porter and shaping industrial competitiveness and policy frameworks? What was your went
so
through that?
basically, when I joined in 1992, it was the time of economic liberalization. Our economy was just opening up. Multinationals were just coming in,
Mm-hmm.
and the West was actually looking at us at that time to see how they could sort of take advantage or come into India and take advantage of our market. So we looked at several sectors,
Uh-huh.
and these were areas like machine tools. There was software. There was several other pumps, for example, bicycles, or commercial vehicles. So we looked at various, I think about 14, 15 sectors, and also the policy areas surrounding it. So, interestingly, I mean, some of the, what do you call the recommendations that we had made at that time,
G.
uh, actually were carried out by the government of India over time. And, we ended up probably 60, 70% of the recommendations that we had made got implemented.
Oh,
So
wow.
that was like, one of the first victories that we had in terms of policy influence and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then, as I moved on, another major issue that we were facing was that, some of our sectors were still closed despite
Correct.
liberalization.
Mm-hmm.
So we were looking at the insurance sector, for example. That was a closed sector that was only open to government of India. It was not open to private sector participation. And it took us about 2, 3 years of convincing, of working with the government, coming up with different arguments, and finally they did open it. And today you see a plethora of insurance companies that operate in India.
Correct, sir.
So another major victory.
Mm-hmm.
Then, by the turn of the century, what had happened was that we started looking at overseas markets and expanding our export base. Our Indian companies started looking abroad.
Correct.
So that's when one of the things that we needed most was technology. Okay,
Correct.
so we didn't know where to get it, and the only place which possessed high technology that we needed was the US. So again, that was one of the reasons why CI decided to invest in the US relationship, and they strengthened the office in Washington.
Correct.
And so I moved there, and during my time, we saw lots of things happening, including the setting of the India-US High Technology Cooperation Group. So that in itself was, a major step forward. And slowly through these discussions, Indian industry was able to sort of work with US, and somewhere in 2005, 6, we started seeing, the beginning of the India-US civil nuclear deal coming into shape.
Correct.
So CI played a background role in that. I mean, like it was constantly supplying the government of India with information, and trying to do some studies, and supporting the government on all those issues. So we did a lot of work there also. So we
Wow.
helped, in the background, we helped shape that deal. We worked a lot with Dr. Jaishankar, who was at that time Joint Secretary Americas. So he was actually in Ministry of External Affairs. We were working with him, and
Oh,
today it's a whole different story.
very nice. But you
So
totally connected with him. You would be knowing him in his growing up age, like how
yes,
he was operating altogether.
So then slowly after that, I decided to move my career, and we I moved to something called the Indian Staffing Federation, and which was actually looking at temporary staffing. So
Correct.
a lot of these, these are people who possess specialized skills whom companies may not want to hire on a permanent basis. They have
Mhm.
specific skills. For example, a software engineer with a specific language skill, which the company may not need for permanently, but may need for a specific project, so they're taken on. So we worked with them. One of the major issues we fought there was that this entire contract labor system in India was absolutely convoluted. There was no recognition for this sort of work, and this was sort of picking up. So we had to work with the government on that. And I think what shook everybody was I think it was 2012 or 2011 when this entire Maruti incident happened in Manesar, where
Mhm.
there was the workers went on a rampage.
Yes,
So
correct.
that, I think, shook everybody, and people started recognizing the need for ethical players in the staffing industry, and not fly by night operators who probably did not pay workers their PF and gratuity and stuff like that. So that sort of started changing, and the mindset started changing. And only yesterday, or actually 2 days ago on Friday, we saw the four new labor codes come in. So it's a very slow process of about 14, 15 years, which changed the entire narrative in India. So now you have simplified your labor regime, and you've given these people recognition, and you're now talking about social security to gig workers. So
Correct.
it's like a transformational shift that we've undergone.
Yes,
So
and
a
more
lot of
labor
these are,
resources.
these are things which evolve over time. So we've worked, I mean, the industry associations in collaboration with the industry work with the government, and we try to shape the narrative. It doesn't happen in a day. It
Correct.
takes years to sort of shape the narrative, but it happens.
Right, sir. Since you were there when India celebrated that 50 years of independence, you were a part of it in developing of India and working under the beauty of the capacities you were there. And that too connected with Dr. Jayashankar also, many things would have now changed also. And we are looking forward for 2047 with your viewpoint. I would also like to understand from Professor Neeraj some little about himself. If Professor Neeraj, the logistics of his phone has been settled, if he can tell some beautiful lines about his journey from entrepreneurship to teaching people and guiding students and the young adults and shaping of the future of India. Professor Neeraj, your views, your
Uh, am I audible? That is the first question.
100% audible with proper
Thank God.
background and
Thank God
everything is
for
there.
that because that has been the resilience problem today.
No, it's properly
ये
audible and
यही
everything is done.
resilience में साहब यही तकलीफ आती है because you never know whether you even connected. That's the
Correct, sir.
problem.
Right, sir.
Uh,
Something about
for
you.
me, the transition started like this, in the
Yeah,
sense that after doing engineering and management,
sir.
and actually getting to work for some of the most prestigious companies in a sense. Like
Hmm.
I started my job with GNFC,
Oh,
Gujarat Narmada Fertilizer,
hmm.
which at that time was the world's largest urea plant.
Correct.
And it was a greenfield plant, but that we find that when I was working there, we felt it was almost impossible to get that plant to work.
Hmm.
And that is when I felt that it was too big a task for me. I was a much lower position, but I
Hmm.
felt that it is too much of a task for the entire organization. I quit that and went to a smaller company,
Hmm.
where again we had possibly the best paymasters in Ahmedabad. Very good people, who a person who would treat you like a brother, not an employee.
Hmm. Correct.
But somehow that didn't suit my style still. So I
Hmm.
decided it is now necessary for me to become my own employer. So that is how I got into business. And after a while, I mean, the people who are running this university in Nadia, in my native place, they kept insisting कि तुम लोग बोल रहे हो कि you have so much love for your native place. So what are you doing for your native place?
Correct.
तो यहाँ आके पढ़ाओ. So we had in the business, one partner had fallen critically ill. So we decided to stop the business, wind it up, and I
Mhm.
shifted over to university.
Correct, sir. So your phone again tilted a bit. Yes, sir.
Got into education.
Mhm.
Otherwise, coming from a family of education educators, that was okay. You know, क्लास में खड़े रह के 1 घंटे तक बोलने के लिए कोई तकलीफ नहीं है.
Mhm.
उतना रेजिलियंस तो जीन्स में था. तो ये हुआ. And that is how I've been running this. I got interested in this business of sustainability, which is, in a sense, I say an older word for resilience. Because
Mhm.
sustainability, we it was perceived as something, that we encountered that problem gradually.
Correct.
While this resilience, especially after the hitting of the two financial shocks of 1998 and 2008,
Correct.
and then the COVID almost a decade later,
Mhm.
and then again, with a certain shake-up in the White House,
Correct.
this all of a sudden this has become a problem. So it is no longer sustainability. It is sustainability, but sustainability under jarring shocks, not something you could even foreseen, and that is now an issue that we need to be facing. And in
Yes,
fact,
sir.
uh, our neighbor has had existential issues, and now we are being once again threatened with existential issues. One neighbor had an existential issue, and we know what we did to them
Correct.
a few years back. And now, what is happening to all the pieces that are left behind? That also we are seeing unfolding. And obviously, today our attempt is to see to it that it does not happen like that in India. Obviously, that is a political issue, but one of the reasons why these things happen is the way their entire economy and the society they dealt with the situation as it evolved. Maybe they have failed, maybe definitely till so far we have not failed. In fact, we are in a position wherein we can say with confidence कि ये प्रॉब्लम हमारे यहाँ नहीं होगा. इतना हम आज के दिन तो कह सकते हैं. That is without hesitation. But the point is that that should be the situation. Even our next generation should not have to worry about that. That I think
Very
should
true.
be one major thing कि हम तो रेजिलियंट है, क्या हमारे बच्चे रेजिलियंट रहेंगे? तो ये
Correct, sir.
हमें आज के दिन में हमें ये देखना चाहिए.
And I would also like to ask you, Professor Neeraj, about your heritage connection with the heritage of.
Heritage, one of the we have a couple of heritage focal points.
Mhm.
One is that there are quite a few heritage properties in and around where I live. Even where I live myself, that house itself is about 250 or 270 years old,
Mhm.
and I am in the eighth generation occupant of that.
Oh my goodness.
And there are a few properties around. Plus, in Nadiad, where I live, we have a great bit of literary heritage. In Gujarat, if you if you ask anybody which is the city which
Mhm.
has which is known for its literary heritage, the answer will be Nadiad.
Oh, wow.
So, because in the later part of the 19th century and a little earlier, I mean, the first decade of the 20th century, there was a host of authors and literators who lived in Nadiad, and they have contributed greatly to Gujarati literature. And
Much.
they were, in fact, what you might say, they went into what today I would call literary resilience. These guys, they were scholars. They were different from other literators in the sense that they were scholars and they brought their scholarship to bear
Mhm.
on
Mhm.
the literature they created, on their authorship. And one of the important things was that in the early 19th century, late
Correct.
18th and early 19th century, there was the age of reform. It was,
Mhm.
starting with Raja Ram Mohan Roy, and which trickled down to the western side of India. So in the
Mhm.
Bombay presidency, there was a lot of reform going on. And
Mhm.
at first, people felt that we need to reform.
Correct.
And at that time, there wasn't much of a thought about what direction should reform take. It was just we saw so much of wrong things around us that we just said, "Ki, ye hatao, ye hatao, ye hatao." Yep, अच्छी बात है. Then came these people of Nadiyad, and being scholars, they said that all right, we need to reform, but then what should be the path of reform? And these
Mhm.
people said that there is such a lot of things we need, principles and policies we need to follow, which are detailed in our own literature, in Indian literature, which can be great guide. Naturally, you don't need to throw the West out or the
Mhm.
Western civilization out or their
Mhm.
ideas or whatever. But
Mhm.
the idea was that even the Indian literature or our
Yes.
heritage had a lot to offer to us, even for the future guidance. So
Yes.
this was the literature heritage that we had. This was in Gujarati literature. This is called the age of syncretism, Samanvayavad. So that is, in a sense, we are torchbearers of the literary heritage also, not just what you can call as a heritage movement. And I'm interested in, one thing I found in this heritage business is that there are so many houses or properties which can be repurposed
Hmm.
to fit some modern needs. Even if simply the basic form is preserved, so many things, so much of structure in Gujarat can be preserved because
Mhm.
Gujarat being a little prosperous state, quite a
Correct.
lot of our properties are in very good condition. अभी इनको तोड़ के आपको नया बनाना है तो वेल यू कैन एटलीस्ट पोस्टपोन दैट एंटायर न्यू कंस्ट्रक्शन बिजनेस फॉर perhaps 50 years. And I think that's
Yes.
a great lot of saving. Apart
Mhm.
from, just the heritage value of it, उसमें न जाए तो भी पैसे का जो सेविंग होता है वो भी
Because basically जो
ट्रिमेंडस है.
architect college से बंदे लोग, they can like keep the exterior looks around like in Bombay they do, and interior they can change a bit and make it so beautiful
Correct,
which
sir.
can be
That is exactly now the movement is taking the form. आपने बिल्कुल सही कहा. That is exactly how it is moving. But
Mhm.
then the owners of the property, they also have to realize कि ये करना जरूरी है.
हाँ, they have to be
लोगों को बाहर का भी
emotions
मॉडर्नाइजेशन
है.
चाहिए.
उनको emotions,
That
they
is
need some
basically, sir.
emotion touch for their property which they are being saying. देखो आप, since you are also staying in the same house for 8 generations, एक emotion
Right.
connection दादा परदादा, and it goes for that way, so it is there.
Absolutely, sir.
So,
Absolutely.
so let me start that today's the session of ours. I will first go with
जी,
Basudev ji. Basudev ji,
जी,
looking
जी.
forward to 2047, since you were there in the developing time, 19 onwards, what are the top three shifts India must make to achieve this vision? What are your vision like 2047? How do economic resilience and sustainable development intersects in India's growth journey? You have to unmute yourself, Basudev ji. So you have to unmute Vasudev ji. आपका म्यूट दबा हुआ है. Yes, sir. Tell me, sir.
Sorry. Yeah. No, I think first and foremost, I think we have to realize that the government nor the private sector will be able to provide enough jobs
Correct.
for the youth today. So right now, I think what we need to do is to push more people towards entrepreneurship and this whole startup movement. And now we hear of a lot of startups, but not all are successful. I think
Mm-hmm.
what we need to do is really look at Israel's experience in this regard, where even if you failed at a startup, they actually celebrate you. They don't
Mm-hmm.
really, they feel that you can learn from your failures and then go on to build a
Correct,
successful
sir.
startup. So it
Right.
is not only providing employment to yourself, but it's also you will bring along maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 others, and then slowly you will grow. So, I think that is the biggest shift that is happening in India at the moment.
And by
Okay.
2047,
Yeah, by 2047, we expect this movement to pick up and, really catch really drive growth in India.
hmm,
And the second thing is that we are importing way too much. I mean, in the sense that there's a lot of things which we have the capability to make in India, and we're just not making them because it's simply cheaper to import. But so we are taking the shorter route. So I think now we need to push this entire R&D effort and really look at how you can indigenize a lot of these components, a lot of these things that we're importing. Of course, there'll be certain things like oil and gas which we cannot import. We just don't have, which we cannot produce because we don't have the natural resources for it here. But
hmm,
there are lots of other intermediate products, parts, components which we can obviously indigenize and sort of cut down on our this thing. The third
basically.
thing is actually to look at diversifying our export basket. So we've traditionally been looking at a lot of developed country markets. Our traditional markets are US, Europe, in all these developed countries. So what we need to do now, and especially given what is happening in US and other countries, is that we need to look at other markets.
Very true.
And we are already signing FTAs with a number of countries where we have strategic interest. We're also signing what do you call free trade agreements with countries like Peru or Chile. Now you
Just
will
now we
ask
saw the
why?
thing with the wheat agreement with also we to hand with India. We just now had it.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So I think so. You have to realize that why are we signing with countries like Peru and Chile? It is because we need natural resources from there.
Correct.
So it's not about traditional trade because those countries are very far from India, difficult to get to.
Yes.
But we've signed an FTA with them. Why? Primarily because we need their natural resources. So these are strategic interests that we need to keep in mind.
Hmm.
So you need to negotiate these FTAs with your own strategic interests and ensure that they match your interests and not just make it a one-way street where the other country gets advantage of everything and you don't get advantage of anything. So
Correct.
these all these efforts, I mean, our technologies are very well suited to countries in Africa. So we are exploring and growing our trade with Africa. We're looking at various other parts of the developing world and moving our trade there also. So
Correct.
these are some of the shifts that will you will see happening in the years to come.
Very nice. Professor Neeraj Saab, since you are training the upcoming youth, so what are your views on this same thing? How do you see 2047 economic and competitiveness?
ट्रेनिंग में तो अभी very frankly there is a serious problem.
Hmm.
The serious problem is कि the youth does not want training unless it is sure कि ये मैंने जो ट्रेनिंग ली वो काम में आएगी.
Correct.
So actually, yeah, there is a serious problem in the sense that on the one side you have an oversupply of unskilled youth.
Hmm.
On the other side, the industry is screaming for skilled
Will-
youth. So we have to somehow come to possibly a time has come where we need to work with
Mhm.
the industry associations. जैसे
Mhm.
वासुदेव जी का इतना जो अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस है
बिल्कुल.
और उनका जो कनेक्शंस है उस
Mhm.
हिसाब से आई वुड से कि आई एम नॉट अगेन नॉट फोकसिंग ऑन वन पर्सन बट ऑन द एसोसिएशन कि ये एसोसिएशन को चाहिए कि भाई हमें इस तरह के बंदे चाहिए गेट अस द पर्सन्स हु आर ट्रेन्ड लाइक दिस. Yes, it is not easy for an association to come together and put out something like an advertisement, just the way we have jobs advertisements. वो एसोसिएशन तो ऐसे नहीं लाएगा, बट एसोसिएशन परहैप्स needs to work with education institutions and these education or training institutions, you might say the ITI or whatever, they need to have that kind of flexibility in the policy from government कि भैया तुमको जो, if so long as you can, for instance, consider an institution like an ITI whose only job is to provide certain skills to the worker. Okay,
Correct.
उसको ये educated man नहीं बनाने का है, वो उनका काम नहीं है जो डिग्री ग्रांटिंग इंस्टीट्यूशंस का है. सो व्हाई कैन दीज पीपल नॉट बी आस्क्ड कि भैया तुमको जो करना है सो करो, प्रोवाइडेड यू आर एबल टू गेट अ जॉब फॉर योर ट्रेनी. बात खत्म.
Sir, I have a question for both of you, sir. See, because
हाँ जी.
I have been out of India since 2003, and I have one question. What happens here is basically, aren't we focusing more on technical training rather than other trainings also? Because what I see, technical people who are trained, yes, they are
हाँ.
trained technically, but they are also coming and doing certain jobs which a non-technical person can also do. Why? Because non-technical mein there is a gap, if I have to
ट्रू,
say that way.
वेरी ट्रू.
तो
दैट इज
उसमें
ऑल्सो, वो अभी कैसे ये अटैक कर रहे हैं इन द न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी,
जी
even for undergraduates, even for BA undergraduates, in the second year, there is a training, what they call as the internship module.
correct,
So they simply throw out the students into any organization for 21 days.
correct.
21 दिन तक 120 घंटे इनको इंटर्नशिप देनी है. Now this is a policy. I'm not saying what other things can be done. This is the government policy. Okay, so for instance in the library that where we are working, हमारी लाइब्रेरी में बंदे को भेज दिए, about 10 people आते हैं. तो हमने इनके साथ क्या कर सकते हैं, हमने उनको सिर्फ यही सिखाया कि बुक क्या होती है फ्रॉम द लाइब्रेरियंस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, बुक को कैसे केयर करते हैं, in just the lending section of the library. Nothing
Correct.
fancy. We are not talking a book lover, how a book lover takes care of the book. No, just an ordinary librarian takes care of this. How do you, the basic classification of books, just how you stack the books in the library. And then at the end of the day, you make a report of what you learned.
Correct.
ये जो लास्ट वाली जो बात है ना, ये तो
What
इनको
you
पता ही
learn?
नहीं.
बिल्कुल नहीं. You are 100% right, sir.
हाँ.
Anywhere.
हाँ, तो इतना हमने सिखाया, इतना भी तो करें हम. आप जो कह रहे हैं सर, ये तो करने को तो बहुत कुछ है. I gave the example of industry and technical skills because in technical skills, you can satisfactorily say कि ये बंदा सीखा है कि नहीं सीखा है.
Correct.
That test, what you might say is the test or the examination, that is very comprehensible by everybody and everybody will agree. अगर आप कहेंगे कि okay, I take this test and as per this test, this student has passed, then people will say ठीक है, चलो ये भैया has passed. It is a little difficult to say in the other type of skills, which are not technical skills.
Yes, sir.
Or what
Because
I would say, what are factory skills. फैक्ट्री स्किल्स को छोड़ के बाकी जो भी स्किल्स है उसके लिए कहना थोड़ा मुश्किल है. आप ड्राइवर रखें तो भी ड्राइवर को भी आप जानते हैं कि जो मालिक है वो उसको कितना इंस्ट्रक्ट करता है.
करेक्ट.
तो ये थोड़ा मुश्किल है, इसलिए मैंने एग्जांपल दिया. अदरवाइज naturally, considering that manufacturing is a very small sector in India, therefore we need people with more other skills. I fully agree with you, without doubt. In fact, आपने तो इतना कहा, the kind of people you require in agriculture, the kind of agricultural skills that are required, वो तो आप ये कोई एग्रीकल्चर यूनिवर्सिटी में जाओ तो पता चले.
बिल्कुल राइट सर. बिकॉज I'll just tell you my
तो
background.
हमें यहाँ तो पता ही नहीं है कि एग्रीकल्चर में क्या स्किल चाहिए.
No, I'll just give you this thing because I'm into shipping and logistics. That is one part of me.
Hmm.
And currently I'm helping India to people from Uttar Pradesh for exporting of biofertilizers, bioorganics and all. So when I meet people, everybody has been told and asked, okay, can be done. But after that, nobody's explaining them how to go and how to do export also. So I was giving them a training when I had come to India last. So they are like people, they are ready to learn, provided we tell them how to go about things. And everybody wants to know कि मैं पैसा कितना बनाएंगे, how much can I make? What do you say, Basudev sir? Because people in the labor part, you tell them, okay, they are sitting idle, no job. When you give them a job, they start showing their tantrums also. So basic things are also missing for the people who have to work. Because, what do you say, sir?
No, no, completely agree. There are many small, probably one man, two man, what do you call, operations all across India.
Mm-hmm.
Now, thanks to platforms like Amazon and whatever, they've got connected to the world. Okay.
Correct.
But
Mm-hmm.
what they lack is, for example, that small unit cannot probably comply with GST. They cannot comply.
Mm-hmm.
So there is an entire ecosystem that needs to be created to help these people sort of flourish and grow.
Correct.
So that is missing. I mean, these small units complain that, if I need to grow, I'll need to hire, so many CAs and whatever just to take care of my financial transactions, which probably some outsourced CA used to do at one point of time.
Correct.
So these are issues, these are practical issues that, these companies are facing.
Mm-hmm.
Artisans and, weavers who are making sarees and probably exporting them around the world, they
Mm-hmm.
face the same problem. So,
Correct.
these are so what we had recommended was some sort of like you have agriculture universities.
Correct,
What
sir.
we had suggested was that MSME
Mm-hmm.
universities be set up,
Mm.
okay, across the country. So these will help you with in developing some of these skills, how to tackle, how to understand balance sheet, how to understand how to file for
Correct.
GST or whatever, or at least the basics of it, if not the
Mm.
full thing.
Correct.
So they have a support system ready in some of these agriculture universities. So, sorry, in these MSME universities. So that's a go-to reference point that we had sort of recommended.
Because sooner it settles down, the better for the growth, what we are looking forward in 2047. Ki yes,
Hmm.
these people, this youth, which is India is having, and if they are getting trained in all the platforms, like a management trainee sort of a thing, and when they go and apply their area of interest, I'm sure they will be gaining some advantage and they will give boost to the companies, those who are hiring them also.
Yes, yes,
Correct, sir. That is what I was looking for because I've seen many people coming into Dubai and Singapore also, where they come with a certain knowledge. But yes, we have to work because the parents have paid high fees for them to get their education done. So they say, okay, whatever work is coming in our way, let's do it. Except the nurses and doctors and all. Rest everybody is ready to do any sort of work only to get paid and look after their parents and back supply and clear their loans and whatever it is. So we should have some management training institute sort of a thing where they can say, okay, this is your interest, but when you're going for a job, focus on your interest. What is but not your parents' interest, because half the people have been studying with the parents' interest. What is
yeah,
your interest to grow? What do you think? This will be helping it a little bit. Yes or no?
definitely, definitely.
नीरज साहब
So
आप बताएं.
इट इज वेरी नेसेसरी, आपको ये करना ही चाहिए.
Hmm.
You do
And
need, a very broad based training if you want, if you are especially in the focus of today's topic. If you are talking of
hmm, hmm, hmm.
resilience always means कि something beyond what you normally do. कहीं से
Correct.
भी शौक आएगा आपको पता नहीं चलेगा.
बिल्कुल. Because currently because as I said, I was in logistics. I am still in logistics. A sudden shock came to pharma industry. Sudden shock came to
हाँ,
many people. Now sudden shock is coming from UK also. And I see the
correct.
exporters and all are looking, they do not know what is the next market for them because for them, the bread and butter was same market only. They had never
Correct.
exploded. As Basudevji said, now we are exploring other countries also. So now they have to look forward. But people had not looked into all those areas which they have started to look. So they have to
Very
be
true.
globally knowledgeable to what is happening around and where goods can go at a better price.
correct,
Correct,
right.
sir. So now I would also like to know how about the leadership? See, because not political leadership, the students, the youth which is coming in, how they should tackle the leadership and going ahead and taking charge of certain things rather than back foot, or let him do, standing behind. In house, at home, they will say, oh, we can do change the world. But if you, I have seen a lot of people, they say, okay, I can change the world, but they are talking about cleanliness. Oh, India roads are not clean, they are honking, but they are also honking. They will talk about cleanliness. घर पे they will be not be picking up a single plate
Correct.
from their dining table to the kitchen also, but they will be
Correct.
also picking.
Correct.
So we should train those children in that aspect. We should start from the school level. What do you think?
I entirely agree. School level, if you as far as personal habits are concerned, those habits which you start in kindergarten are the only ones will stay.
Hmm.
केजी के बाद में आप जो भी करना चाहें, that is already too late.
Correct.
Doesn't mean you should not do it. You can still do it.
Hmm.
वो करना तो पड़ेगा ही.
Hmm.
लोग करते भी है, सुधरते भी हैं. But the earlier you start, the better it is.
Hmm. And
ये
Basudev,
वो
about the leadership, like I was talking about how to the driving the youth which can drive the economy of India. Where are they coming in from now? I want leaders. Like so college mein they are saying not the political, but leaders who say, okay, I can do this, I can bring this change. The gut feeling inside to do something.
So I think what you're seeing is a slow shift towards entrepreneur development.
Hmm.
Uh, it's just, like there are many good, what do you call, people who have good ideas and who want to implement them, but they need to be honed a little more. So
Hmm.
for every 10, very good businesses that come out, there's always some negative example which comes in. So for every, let's say, big basket or Zomato which has succeeded, you will get a Byju's.
Hmm.
So that so basically the problem is of governance, of corporate governance, that these people have very good technical skills but not enough business training. So
Correct.
this aspect needs to be addressed somehow. That these people should also have some recourse of some sort, a place where they can go and get these skills and at least understand what how to run the basic operations of a business, what is
Hmm.
behind the business. So
Correct.
that is very much lacking right now, and I think we need to really put our heads together and address this
Because
issue.
they're not getting connected to the company where they are working, or they're not like Purane Zamane people used to go and work, they used to get connected. These people, they are more connected to the financial aspect. How much money I'm getting in the other job, I will shift. And they keep on comparing every time because what I have seen from my side, okay, this person by studying this much is earning so much. They will talk great about them. But yes, they will not themselves go and do the same work, but they'll speak about, okay, yes, this is what it is. Hey, what a good leader he is. What I think the lacking is the leadership quality and the zeal for doing things.
Yeah, true. There is a large deficit in this in the current generation that is coming in.
Correct. So because we would like, and as the Dr. Professor Neeraj said, he was working in the city. People from his hometown said, "He come back if you want." Talking about homecoming, you why don't you do something at your hometown? Which he went back, whatever may be the reason. But yes, he has developed. Neeraj ji, how do you think that way people should be doing?
आप जो कह रहे हैं, my point is, I fully agree with you. I
Hmm.
fully agree with Basudev ji कि this is the way the present generation is. ये जनरेशन को सुधारने का प्रयास करने के बजाय
Hmm.
industry needs to adapt itself around these people. There is no other way. ये
Hmm.
लोग को सुधारने जाएंगे, कुछ नहीं होने वाला. ये लोग को ऐसे लोग जो हैं वो इन सम सेंस वो लातों के भूत है, ये बातों से नहीं मानने वाले,
So
इंसेंटिव से
2047
नहीं
में how do
मानेंगे.
you? Hmm.
बिकॉज माय पॉइंट इज ये उसमें ये प्रश्न किसको होता है? दोज पीपल हु ऑलरेडी हैव सम स्किल्स एंड सम कैपेबिलिटी. सो
Correct.
दे विल ऑलवेज फाइंड अ मार्केट फॉर देमसेल्फ समवेयर.
Hmm.
आप उनको लात मार के भगा देंगे तो वो कहीं उनको कहीं ना कहीं मार्केट मिल जाएगा. But sometimes they come back to you, and that is the time when you can strike a genuine bargain with them कि भैया ये चलेगा, ये नहीं चलेगा. बाकी जो लोग हैं, आपको उनके you have to wrap yourself around them. You cannot change them.
So, sir, अभी जैसे 20 years are there for 2047, around 22 years.
हाँ.
So, the youth who's just in their, you can say in the school, they will
हम्म.
be in the youth at this particular time. So, what are the your like you would like to say to the parents or to the teachers what they should do so that 2047 becomes a flourishing, resilient Viksit Bharat?
The only thing I could say, if I have to say one thing,
Yes, sir.
rather I would say two things.
Correct,
The
sir.
first thing I'd say is reduce the class size.
Hmm.
Insist to government, insist to your head office, whatever, कि क्लास साइज को 30 या 40 से ज्यादा न रखो, क्योंकि अगर वो करेंगे तो ही टीचर बच्चे पे ध्यान दे पाएगा. विदाउट दैट इट इज जस्ट प्लेन इम्पॉसिबल.
Correct.
द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज कि आपको ये देखना है कि यू एनकरेज देम टू टेक एज मेनी, इफ दैट इज अ स्मॉलर क्लास, then you
Hmm.
can encourage the students to do something that is of their interest. And
Correct.
now the education policy that is coming in, that is
Hmm.
encouraging this. At least one thing that is good now that has come out is कि पॉलिसी तो सुधर गई है,
Hmm.
लेकिन अभी हम इतने इतने सालों से हम पीछे रहे थे. इट इज लाइक इंडिपेंडेंस, कि जो लोग ने हजारों साल से जो लोग गुलाम रहे थे, ओवरनाइट 15 अगस्त की रात को वो आजाद बन गए. तो जो प्रॉब्लम हुई, व्हाट इज
Hmm.
द नेवल पीपल दे कॉल दिस डीकम्प्रेशन. तो
Hmm.
ये डीकम्प्रेशन हो गया है.
Hmm.
मुझे लगता है कि आपका प्रश्न बहुत सही है, लेकिन ये प्रश्न हमें थोड़ा ये एनईपी को इम्प्लीमेंट करने के साथ साथ पूछना चाहिए,
Hmm.
क्योंकि वो एक अच्छी पॉलिसी है. लेट अस इम्प्लीमेंट दिस, एंड व्हाइल इम्प्लीमेंटिंग दिस, इफ वी आस्क दिस क्वेश्चन, देन वी विल हैव अ रियल पाथवे आउट.
Correct.
आज हम ये ब्लैंक एज इफ something like we are not into what is called the, what we may say as the constituent assembly.
Correct.
हम उससे आगे निकले हैं और हमारे पास ऑलरेडी एक पाथवे है. तो
Hmm.
उसके साथ साथ करेंगे तो हम ऐसा बना पाएंगे विच अदर्स कैन अंडरस्टैंड एंड गिव अस अ फीडबैक एटलीस्ट.
Hmm.
मान लो कि हम दूसरों को रास्ता नहीं दिखा रहे, तो दूसरे हमें फीडबैक देंगे, एटलीस्ट दैट फीडबैक वी कैन इनकॉर्पोरेट.
For sure.
So I think we should think while doing, learn by doing नहीं, think while doing.
Doing it.
वो करना भी चाहिए, करते करते सोचना चाहिए, सिर्फ सोचने से तो. एंड यू गिव दिस टू टीचर्स, बिलीव मी, इफ द क्लास साइज इज स्मॉल, teachers can think, teachers will think. It does not require, you do not have to go to the level of Radha Krishnan or Adi Shankaracharya
Hmm.
to become a good teacher.
Correct. It is imparting of
वो हो
knowledge.
जाएगा. मैंने जो बिल्कुल, जिन्हें हम फालतू टीचर कहेंगे, वो फालतू टीचरों में भी मैंने इतनी कैपेबिलिटी देखी है कि उनको आप दिखाओ कि भैया तुम्हें ये करना है, थोड़ा एनकरेजमेंट दो, थोड़ा उनके साथ में चलो, तो बहुत कुछ अच्छा रिजल्ट आ सकता है.
Vasudev ji, your views, your take.
I totally agree with Neeraj ji. I mean, you need to give it that little bit of push, that little bit of encouragement. And we could also look at some other systems. I've been seeing reels and videos of kids in Japan, or
Hmm.
in Korea, where they're actually taught to do things themselves. Like, for example, in Japan, I think they make the afternoon lunch themselves, or at least they put it all together. They clean up, they wash up, they do everything.
Hmm.
So when you start imbibing these small things into kids at a very young age,
Hmm.
then they don't feel bad about doing menial tasks, or taking on everything at a later stage when they actually start their careers. Right now, I
Correct.
think the attitude is that this is not my job, why should I
Uh,
do this?
I
So
have seen
that
myself that.
attitude may just change if you start doing these small tweaks at the school level. I'm not exactly recommending that you follow what is done in Japan, but
Me, I'll
encourage
just give you my
kids.
example, sir. Like, because when we are working, we have to take let's say a printout is there. We get up from our table, go to the printer, pick the paper, and come back to our seat,
Yeah.
or whatever position you may be. But here, if you get up and do, बैठ जाओ, हम बुलाते हैं किसी को, and then their bell goes and
Wait, wait.
somebody comes in because they are not taught that way. So that the adults
Exactly.
should be taught all those basic things at least, which can change them. And as far as Professor Neeraj said, internship and all. I have seen, I had come to India when I saw many people training logistics. I'll talk about because I went into logistics, and they tell them, okay, we will give you internship of logistics. But when you meet these students, none of them have got an internship. Why? Because they do not know half of the things also. What have
Yeah,
been the taught? Logistics is one field which will never go down. And what have been taught in the field, they are not having the entire knowledge also. Because I was putting them questions, and then they used to come to Dubai for interviews. We used to ask them questions, this is. No, sir, we do not. And then they are from good educational school and with a good background. But yes, now they are looking forward for a salary package, a huge salary package, because they have parents have taken hefty loans, middle class family, and they want to clear the loans. So I say, okay, better you learn certain things. So if in the college, those skills are given to them after every semester, 15, 20 days internship of what they have learned will surely help in 20, by the time the India grows further down. What are you,
correct.
Professor Neeraj sir?
यू आर वेरी राइट सर. ये बहुत जरूरी है. एक्चुअली बहुत सारी चीजें जरूरी है इंडिया में. एज यू कैन वेल, एज एनीबडी कैन से, वी आर
Hmm.
सो फार बिहाइंड. बट आई
Hmm.
जस्ट गिव यू वन एग्जांपल ऑफ what I got the idea yesterday. For instance, when this resilience has come up,
Hmm.
uh, one major problem in this so-called resilience is what we don't have enough rare earths, the small elements. बराबर,
Hmm.
जो चाइना बोलता है कि हमारे पास वर्ल्ड 95% है.
Hmm.
अभी वी हैड अ टॉक एट IIM by one
Hmm.
of the experts in the field. He is also an alumnus of IIM. वो
Hmm.
बंदा बोलता है कि one of the major problems in this is that
Hmm.
the most of the real projects in rare earths are
Hmm.
around 50 crores, 50 to 100 crores. And no biggie, no big corporation is interested in this.
Correct.
So nobody invests.
Hmm.
Apart from the government problems,
Hmm.
कि जैसे कि the law says that if any material that you find, any mineral that you find in the soil
Hmm.
has more than 0% radioactivity, you have to hand over the whole thing to government. This
Correct.
is the exact word, more than 0%. मतलब
Hmm.
1 ppm भी निकला ना तो आपका दद्दा ही बत. आपने माइनिंग लाइसेंस लिया है, माइनिंग
Hmm.
लाइसेंस गया.
Cancel. Hmm.
कैसे चलेगा धंधा?
Correct.
तो ये कौन सोचेगा? 50 करोड़ का प्रोजेक्ट, क्या आप बताओ मुझे कि ये हिंदुस्तान में 50 करोड़ का प्रोजेक्ट करेगा कौन?
कोई नहीं आएगा
आप
सामने बट.
मुकेश भाई के पास जाएंगे, गौतम भाई के पास जाएंगे,
Hmm.
टाटा के पास जाएंगे. वो बंदा वो बोलता है कि यू शुड वर्क फॉर 90 आवर्स इन द वीक, वो उसके पास जाएंगे आप?
अरे माय गुडनेस.
किसके पास जाएंगे? ये 50 करोड़ का प्रोजेक्ट करेगा कौन?
कोई नहीं करेगा. एंड 50 करोड़
हाँ,
इवन इफ
तो
यू वांट.
रेजिलियंस कहाँ से लाएगा?
Hmm. So how do
ये
we
जो
what?
जिस दिन ये हमने ये सब स्पेस का और एटॉमिक एनर्जी का ये सब सोचा, तो
Hmm.
कितना बड़ा धंधा था? हाउ बिग वाज इट?
Correct.
Yet it was the prime minister who was looking after it.
Initially, when it started way back, ISRO started. It was a project which was supposed to be stalled. Also, they said we'll not do it,
हाँ,
which
हाँ,
I was going through it. But now it is one becoming the one of the biggest
करेक्ट.
thing.
हाँ, तो
Uh,
ये करना तो पड़ेगा, शुरुआत तो करनी पड़ेगी ना.
जी बिल्कुल. So what like
एक
so if I have to
गुजराती
ask
वी
you,
हैव सेइंग कि
हाँ,
बच्चा पैदा होता है उस दिन से बाप को खिलाता नहीं है.
correct.
उसके लिए 30 साल लगते हैं.
Correct. So if you have to give an like Basu Saab and Neeraj Saab accordingly, you can die. What is the one message which you will give to the youth? What they should do from now, today onwards, if they will listen to this podcast, what they should do from now with effect today's, what they should do so that India can progress, they can progress, and it can become a very different country altogether. Like from 91 and 80s, it has turned out to a better country. Now more what should be input so that by 2047 they become much better.
इफ
In
वासुदेव
sorry,
जी आप कहिए फिर मैं करूँ.
हाँ जी
आइए
वासुदेव.
आइए
no, in my
प्लीज.
view, they should focus on how, at least, they should at least follow their dreams. They should try and look at, creating a sort of entrepreneurial venture which they can try and set up or explore. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe this is something that they should all look towards. because the
Hmm.
future of India is going to lie in entrepreneurship.
Correct. So entrepreneurship is the basic thing
Yeah.
which they should focus on.
Right.
Professor sir.
And if I have to say, I would say कि there are plenty of opportunities in India. ये कभी भी
Correct.
ये सोचने की जरूरत नहीं है कि मैं करूंगा उसका फायदा मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा, नहीं, वो प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. But you
Hmm.
just throw yourself into the job, even if it
Correct.
is not of your dreams. मैं you have a job. आप
Hmm.
जोमेटो के डिलीवरी बॉय हैं. It is not a
Hmm.
job of your dreams, but you do it well. You
Correct.
will be able to find out something that you can do better than what you are doing today. तो मतलब पहले तो एक पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड रखो. दूसरा, आज का काम जो है वो आज कर लो. फिर वो ये काम करने के बाद 5 मिनट के लिए सोचो कि मैं कल क्या करूं इससे बेहतर. बस.
Hmm.
And this will give great dividends over a long period of time. It is definite.
Hmm. So because that is how they will get connected to themselves and they will start doing
Right.
things.
Yes, yes. There is a very critical word, sir.
Hmm.
Get connected to yourself.
Yes. Once they get connected to themselves, they understand things
हाँ.
easier and then
तो
they will be
अंदर से ही अपने आपके अंदर से ही कुछ ना कुछ निकलेगा.
correct. So, sir, let's have some fun. इस टॉपिक को लेके I have some rapid fire question around 10 and I need both of you to answer one by one. One skill every Indian youth must master for 2047. Basudev ji and then Neeraj ji. One skill every Indian youth must master for 2047.
I would say reporting and demanding a report.
Reporting and demanding a report. Basudev ji, yours we take.
I guess I will stick to my earlier this answer, which is entrepreneurship.
Okay. What's one habit young people should drop immediately?
Mobile.
Ditto.
Sorry?
Ditto. Ditto.
For sure. अभी सब आएंगे
As
अभी.
a habit, yes, it should be dropped.
Yes. One book of resource you think every young Indian must read.
I would say there is a book called The Island of Adventure by Jules Verne.
Okay. Very nice book. Vasudev ji.
There's a lot to be learned from the discovery of India. So,
Okay. That series is a huge, nice series.
yeah.
If you have to describe Indian youth in one word, what would it be?
One word.
Indian youth.
It's tough. Diverse. It is diverse across the country and diverse within themselves.
I would say I would use the word jugadu, but in a positive sense.
Okay.
That's also good.
The biggest opportunity for young entrepreneurs in next decade.
I would say AI.
AI.
I would say human services,
Human services. Yes.
which cannot be taken over by AI.
Correct, sir. A government initiative.
ये दो में बहुत कुछ आ जाएगा.
बिल्कुल आ
बाकी शायद
जाएगा
कुछ
सर.
नहीं रहेगा.
A government initiative that youth should leverage more.
The apprenticeship schemes.
Okay.
Yes, I would also agree.
Wow. That is two great minds agreeing to one thing, need immediate working onto it. One mistakes young professionals often make early in their career.
Switching too early, I think. You really need to understand and develop some skills before you switch.
Correct.
I would put it a little the same thing, but I would go a little deeper and say they think that the job is made for them and not they for the job.
Yeah.
Correct.
मतलब आप कुछ करेंगे नहीं तो आपको नौकरी पे रखेगा कौन?
बिल्कुल.
And this, that you are doing something that you have to see from the eyes of the boss and not from just from your eyes.
Correct. The message to a 20-year-old who wants to contribute for Viksit Bharat.
I think follow
Anything
your,
you do can contribute to Viksit Bharat, start doing it.
something similar. I mean, just follow your dreams and, whatever you're good at, do it.
Correct, sir.
One sector where youth should definitely build a career.
One sector. नहीं नहीं ये जरा समझा नहीं सर.
A
Because
sector,
that way you
one
are
sector.
channeling everybody into one sector.
Well, like I'm just trying to say, definitely they should look into so that their career is built. Not
That is AI, without doubt.
without doubt. Okay.
Yeah, same.
If you were 21 today, what's the first thing you would do differently?
If I were 21 today, I would.
Uh,
I would
Actually,
go on a fairly long hike, 1 month or so, without mobile.
Oh wow. वो तो किया था सर, 20 में
Totally
मैंने
away, totally into nature.
सर when we were
Just
21.
to really see कि ये दुनिया once again कि ये दुनिया कैसे चलती है.
करेक्ट सर, ये तो हम लोगों ने किया भी था. तभी तो खेलते कूदते रहते थे. वासुदेव जी, योर टेक ऑन दिस.
I don't think I would have changed anything. I've sort of enjoyed what I used to do back then.
Yeah.
This was no mobile, no relax, play gilly
We
danda.
didn't have mobiles back then. So
हाँ.
we did in 92, there were no mobiles. There was no internet.
Agree. So basically idea is कि जो भी है उससे बिल्कुल ऐसे डिस्कनेक्टेड रहो कि तुम कहीं और से कनेक्ट हो सको.
Correct, sir. Thank you, Basudev ji and Neeraj ji. It was pleasure meeting you. And I
Thank
would
you very
say
much.
Thank you.
कि अगर like
Your rapid fire, is the real kick of the session.
thank you,
Yes.
sir.
I loved that. I loved that.
Thank you, sir. And I'm
Thank
sure
you. Thank you. It was
we will
quite
surely
enjoyable.
meet up again and we will be in personal touch
Definitely.
also. And anybody has any questions, you can just all write to Zena family and then you can get your
Right.
answer. Namaste, sir. Thank you very much.
Namaste,
Thank
sir.
you.
Pleasure
Thank you.
meeting
Thank
you,
you.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.